Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a very important match here in Starladder, China. I'm LDV on the summit. I'm joined here today by Blaze. And Blaze, this is a big one for both teams. Hyper Glory team just got done crushing LGD, and MSI beat it. 2-0'd them. They're 4-0 right now, the only undefeated team left standing in Starladder, China. And Newbee, 3-1, still in the hunt, of course, for those top 4 slots that go to the playoffs, top 2 of which go to Kiev. We'll have a crack at them here and look to give them their first loss of the group stage.
Yep, technically with 2 qualifier spots going all the way to Kiev, there is a possibility for both these teams to pull through, but Vici Gaming is looking really strong right now, and the mentality might just have to be, if I can't outrun the bear, I can just outrun you. And right now they're trying to pull forward, trying to take these big games off one another, and this is going to, even though we have a lot of days to come, this is going to be one that could haunt them for a long time. But we're going to be seeing a pretty interesting draft progress very rapidly, so getting right on into it, we did see some very standard first phase bans, but after the initial volleys of picks, Razor, Skywrath, Batrider, Viper, all common stuff here in the Chinese team. Now we get to see the Mirana for Newbee and the Tusk for HGT. It's really interesting to see this, and I'm curious what they can do with it. I mean, Viper's a hero that's okay with being in melee range of an opponent, just gets more right clicks that way and he's tanky enough, and you put a Batrider in melee range, you're going to turn a snowball into a lasso and just have complete positioning control. It's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, they have kind of an interesting draft here in general. Lots of just control from the Tuskar's mobility and lockdown, as well as including the frozen sigil as well. Why am I getting the sound effects for this? I accidentally clicked on the ability icon. You know how it plays a little video, and I closed it, but it still played the audio. Very strange. But yeah, frozen sigil, Viper strike, poison attack, sticky napalm, flame break. Like that's not too many hard stuns, but a lot of just annoying control for Newbee to move around in these fights. And I especially like it against Razor because it's a hero. That's a hero that needs to stay on top of you, and he's going to have a bit of trouble doing it if his teammates aren't providing the lockdown, which they get a bit more with now. Newbee will pick up the Brewmaster. Not too many ways to prevent him from splitting this game. They've got the Polar Punch knockup and the Lasso, but not too much burst as of yet. And so I'm thinking that's the main area where HGT are lacking if they want to take a team fight approach to this game. But there's certainly other options for them. We'll have to see which direction they take.
Yep, for right now they have a great tool in the Tusk for initiation for actually trying to pull away from a bad fight. Like if there's a Mystic Flare down, you can always just snowball inside. And I actually prefer the Blink Dagger on the Tusk for that exact reason, where you can kind of play reactively, make things difficult to pull somebody out of a long 5-second arrow, pull somebody out of a Mystic Flare. So things of that nature will be really cool to see. But as far as like getting a good hard ZSMJ farmer, that's what we're really looking for here, is something where he can just do work on. He did the PA yesterday, and that was obviously to great effect. Has a lot of different heroes in his arsenal, but he's going to want to go late game on this one. He's going to want to be able to kind of outpace the Brewmaster Razor potential. They're great heroes, but around like the 45-50 minute mark, it's harder to keep those pandas alive, and the Razor might not even be able to keep pace without the Refresher Orb. So we'll see what they end up going with here, tapping into reserve time, but they do want something that can still be in your face, and it's going to be the Slark.
Yeah, Slark this game, there is really one answer for him, and that's the Scarlet Mage Silence, if they get it off before he Dark Packs. Otherwise, little control for him, and HGT just built around these constant small-scale skirmishes, I feel. Like, their longest cooldown, probably, of significance is the Lasso. Like, yeah, you have Viper Strike, but that's not really too important to take fights in general, and yeah, I'm thinking HGT just want to have small little micro-engagements all around the map as often as possible, and this is a lineup well-suited to do it.
Yeah, you keep your targets locked down. You have some tangible obstructions with the ice shards, the lockdown with the pounce. Like, how do you actually get distance on these heroes? If they close in, if they get one spell on you, you are locked in place. Even the Weaver, I honestly don't feel is going to be all that safe. You get Dust of Appearance on the Tusk, you're going to be able to chain stun Snowball and Walrus Punch, and yeah, he might be able to get the time lapse off if Slark doesn't go for an Orchid, which he very well might. But no matter the case, like, you still have the pounds. You still have a lot of ways to lock him in position, and obviously the Lasso speaks for itself. So in this position, Weaver's probably the best pick they could have gone for, but even in that case, I honestly think that HGT still have a good deal of answers for him, and yeah, if Viper or Slark goes for an Orchid, Newbee's going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah, Weaver now picked up by Newbee, and yeah, there's just not much lockdown for him aside from Lasso, and there's other important targets to be dealing with in these fights. So on paper, I do like this Newbee draft if they can get through kind of that 5 to 20 minute mark where HGT will be looking to snowball, literally with the Tuskar. But just in general, they are a very snowball oriented lineup as far as just heroes that want to just get great momentum and keep on rolling with it. And they'll now pick up a Vengeful Spirit, so they get a little bit of pushing prowess from this hero. Obviously not along the lines of like a Jakiro or anything, but gives your team some minus armor, the damage aura to push into towers a bit quicker, and a good dual roamer for Tuskar more than anything. This is a very potent duo for the laning stage, and one of the things I've noticed with HGT, and I was actually just having this conversation with Basekip on Twitter. Well, it was a quick exchange, but he mentioned Pretty Hall's Mirana, something that I had seen a week or so ago. He's very impressive on the hero, but the thing with Mirana picks is it's not just like, are you good at hitting arrows, but it's kind of like the way that you approach the laning stage, where you're really focused on ganks, shutting down the opponents before they come online. And this Tuskar Venge, different heroes, but I think kind of a similar style in some ways, where they just want to, win the game from the lanes onwards.
Most definitely. There's going to be some setup involved, and they have to consider positioning where Newbee's going to move based on, and react based on what you throw at them. But definitely think this is a maxing Magic Missile type game for Vengeful Spirit here. If you go for like the 2 or 3 points in Magic Missile early, along with the burst damage coming out from Tusk, these heroes are just going to be dropping so damn fast. I mean, Brewmaster is the only naturally tanky one right now, and obviously, he's still going to be the most exposed if he goes out on the mid lane. We'll see. Right now, How probably wants to have something more secure in farm, so that would imply an offlane Brewmaster, but they could run it a couple different ways.
Yeah, for now, we'll have a quick pause as the teams finish loading and doing whatever setup they need to do, and we'll go ahead and introduce the teams while we wait. We've got How handling the Weaver. Sansheng will be playing the Scarlet Mage. That puts Mu onto the Razor. And last but not least, we have Banana, who will be playing who is it again? What support?
Sorry, I was doing Twitter stuff. Banana is going to be running on Mirana.
Oh, Mirana. Okay, that's right. And then on the side of Hyper Glory team, formerly Hearts Get Together, but man, they've come a long way since then. ZSMJ, the legend himself. By the way, if you haven't seen, this guy gets like 6K digit viewers when he streams on, I think it's Douyu TV. It's one of the Chinese streaming platforms. He is quite a following. He'll be playing the Viper. Icy on the Slark. That puts Pretty Hall onto the Tuskar. Kaka will be playing the Batrider. And last but not least, S will be handling the Vengeful Spirit. And so with that, we'll hopefully get a load in here soon from Banana and everybody fully underway. So looking at our lanes real quickly, let's see how they're going to look to match this one up. For now, Icy is headed towards the top lane. I'm guessing we're going to see either Icy or Kaka taking the safe lane farm, ZSMJ going mid, and then most likely just a dual roam from S and Pretty Hall. I'm not so sure that they'll just sit in the lane and try to go for kills, but if they want to do that, then I suppose they have some kill. Probably the Slark would be the best hero to lane with for that.
Yeah, I'm really curious how well Hal's going to do in the early laning stage and how much pressure they're going to put on him, because I think the Linkage timing or Manta timing, if he chooses to go that route, in either case is really, really important. How he is able to build up his first defensive item is going to define how this game plays out. If they can just get kill after kill on him and he doesn't have the durability to survive it, they get some good detection, maybe even get to hold a gem on a hero like Slark, who clings to that thing for dear life. I don't know. It's going to be more and more difficult for the Weaver, but we'll see. For right now, the Slark is making his way solo up top, and that would facilitate some really good roaming ganks. You get 1 pounce, you follow it up with all these stuns under a Sentry Ward or under Dust, and it's going to be very difficult for how to feel comfortable in the lane. Right now, they're starting out with 2 sentries on Pretty Hall. They do not have any Dust, but that's fine. I mean, just Sentry and Smoke is going to be a great opener for him, and then, of course, Vengeful Spirit's going to pick up the Observer Wards and Courier. This leaves Kaka to start with the boots first, and this is a hero they don't really have to babysit.
Yeah, Sunshine will hide himself in the trees here as he dropped down an Observer Ward. Not the Magic Bush, though, and Pretty Hall starts to move out, getting a little more aggressive. Almost in range for Newbee to think about a jump on him. They do have 4 heroes in the jungle. Only 3 for HGT. But they're not going to actually take the bait. Well, maybe they will, Arrow. This might force the issue. Searching for Kaka, but he will dodge away from that one. And now he heads towards the jungle. Are they just going to run a jungle bat? No, okay, no, they're swapping up the lanes here. They'll send ZSMJ against the tri-lane. They'll give the Batrider the 1v1 mid. And that will put the Slark in the off lane. So it's going to be a Bat versus Brew. And that leaves Icy 1v1 against a Weaver in the off lane. Only 5 tangos. Already forced to eat one before he even gets to the lane.
Yeah, it's not going to be great for him, but he'll get a poor man's shield up, and he'll still be able to block a lot of damage here. He probably will have to Cory up like one salve before he gets to level 6, but he'll manage. In the meantime, most of the action is going to be down here. The pole camp is blocked off twofold, Observer and Sentry, so there's no way they're going to be able to take this out, especially not with that first Sentry ward. It's really going to be about Pretty Haw's positioning. They're going to be looking for arrow opportunities. Concussive Shot is pretty good for setting that up, but he's not going to have that till level 2. So Pretty Haw, he needs to be in the right position with his 305 movement speed to be able to snowball, either offensively, defensively, however to react to the lane. For now, it's going to be Ice Shards on Amu, who kind of wants to be close to his targets for Static Link, but will take a bit of damage in return.
Yeah, they'll disengage, but meanwhile, top lane, how? Didn't quite almost go down, because it's only a level 1 Slark. Very difficult to finish a kill, but did a ton of damage there. And both lineups bottom lane, they're aggressive. Like, it's not just the fact that it's tri-lane on tri-lane, but the positioning is very far up for these supports. S is just, like, standing next to the creeps. Pretty Haw was there for a while. And these are not heroes that have disengage potential. So if they go in and they get caught, they are going to have to fight it out. And it seems for now both teams are pretty confident in their ability to win that fight.
Yeah, it's a bloodbath. I think a lot of it weighs on how quickly they bring Moo down, because as the fight goes on just a little bit longer, that damage drain is going to hurt.
There you go. Ice Shards to start. The follow-up stun onto Moo. This is the initiation they were looking for, and that's a first blood on the enemy Razor. HGT, the streak continues for them. Lots of first bloods, lots of early leads, and many of these have been converted into actual wins against these top tier, at least in terms of named Chinese teams, though. I think you can increasingly make the case that HGT oh, I see. Top lane. He's going to leap it on Hao. There's no mana for Sakuchi. He saw him moving into the river to try and make the wraparound. And what? 2 more auto attacks will be a kill. With the Orb of Venom, he's going to do it. 1v1 finds it. Meanwhile, back to the bottom lane where Banana's fallen again. It was the Ice Shard setup, the Magic Missile Wave of Terror follow-up. What a sexy play by Icy. He saw him trying to run around, and he's like, all right, standard Weaver play is just going to be to walk all the way around here, so I'm just going to anticipate his movements, leap down from the high ground. It looks easy because he just saw it coming, but that is a sick play. And Rabbit, feeling like he has to make something happen here, is now trapped up by creeps. He does have a clap. He's trying to eat his way out, and he keeps on chasing for Icy. He wants this kill badly, but he's taking too many tower shots, man. He's going to have to back. Meanwhile, Sanchen and Banana also on the smoke. And
yeah, they need to make something happen here. 0 kills on this combo. They need some momentum behind them. They do have level 2, so there is a possibility. But again, reactive play from Pretty Haw could nullify a lot of this. Air will fly. They're already offensive, and they're not going to get hit.
And do they even look to turn around against Newbee here? Trying to force the issue pretty hard, but this is a difficult engagement for them. If Banana does not load, they're just going to snowball in. He's going to leap out, but the snowball follows through. Now the Magic Missile. Say goodbye to your Banana. Once again goes down. And Moo driven off the lane a bit. It's only level 1 poison attack. Not going to be getting a kill, but the damage is there. This game is quickly falling apart for Newbee in the laning stage. Down 1,500 gold, 1,500 experience. The Batrider's breaking even in terms of far mid lane on the Brew, so that lane's a wash. And there's a bit of a CS lead here for Newbee, but not making up for the first blood and 4 kills in 3 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key objective for Newbee in this game in general was to avoid any deaths before level 6, or at least limit them. But now we see in mid lane, Rabbit already used his clap. It's coming off cooldown, but there's a lot of Firefly damage.
That clap! Man, that hurts. He thought he had it.
Yeah, it was good movement. It definitely was, but all the same, this is a Brewmaster we're talking about. He's got a lot of HP to work with, and of course that Thunderclap is now up to rank 3, so pretty painful. Banana's gonna scout out a regen rune for him. I think should just go to Rabbit. He's got the empty bottle, and Banana will make sure that Slark isn't making his way that direction. But some great plays from Icy already, as we mentioned. He's great in a 1v1 circumstance right here now, because not only does he have the Orb of Venom to pursue when the enemy doesn't have mana to work with, but he also gets that Essence Shift. He gains 3 damage for agility every single time, but in mid lane.
Snowball in, now following up with the Magic Missile. Rabbit caught out, and as mentioned, not level 6. Easy kill, and a much needed one for HGT to salvage this lane a bit, which the Bat was still farming well in, but giving a Brew a kill like that can really shift the lane around. So in the end, the Brew goes down, and they will, for the time being, leave the Viper alone as top lane Doyu, or it's not Doyu, Jesus. I hate how they have the streaming service at the end of their names. Just your instinct is just to read the last part of the name, but yeah, Icy gets pursued out of it. The salve will get canceled.
So, I mean, that's not a bad cost, though. For getting a 1-0 lane and doing okay in CS, having to pop a salve before level 6 comes out, he's still going to be okay.
Oh, this one's going to leave a mark. Arrow on pretty hall mid. The clap, the crit, and the kill goes the way of Rabbit. And they need this kind of turnaround. Both team supports off to a overall stellar start with this early rotation, especially HGT's, but now it's the turn for Newbee supports to strike back a bit. And How is getting aggressive here. He's going to find out Icy momentarily, who just hit level 6. Oh no, he didn't actually spot him out. Didn't head north. He wrapped around this way, and in the end, that will allow Icy to get a free fountain trip, essentially.
Arrow hits on Kaka. He was fire flying through the trees. They caught him out, and he's going to go down. Great movement as a whole. They brought 4 heroes for this. They really wanted to make sure that there was no chance there. On top lane, Icy just barely gets the ulti off. Shadow Dance on cooldown, out of mana, but at least regenerating HP for now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough lane for the Slark without detection. Like at the early levels, Sakuchi has that long cooldown, but once Weaver gets a bit of regen, he's not picked up his bottle. He can just spam it, hit you with the double proc auto attack, and then before you can really punish it, he's already has another Sakuchi to run away. So it is a lane that gets harder for the Slark without backup, and we may just see Icy rotate around. Maybe goes back top, gets a few more levels, but soon enough, I think we'll see him look to get active in these fights. And speaking of activity, HGT, another smoke from them. They're going to run right into Rabbit with a haste. Oh, that's not the gank they were looking for. Stun onto Rabbit. It won't matter, though. S is going down. Didn't even have to blow a split for that.
They wanted to play it a little passive, wanted to minimize deaths, but no, they're not letting them play that game, then they'll play the game right back. We do see Icy going toe-to-toe with Haura here. He does have a time lapse, but I don't think that resets Essence Shift. No, it does not, and that's going to last a little while as Icy decided to put 2 points in it. So the double duration.
Now bottom lane. There was a split onto ZSMJ. The arrow follows up the boulder toss, and they'll lose their Viper. Newbee striking back. They started this game 0-4, and suddenly it's 5-5. So it's a 1-5 exchange favoring them as the Brewmaster split will end, and that's an important rotation from Rabbit, and now up to 1400 gold. We're looking at like a 10-minute blink here. But they will stun him. They get the long-range stun. Are they going to commit for this? They have a lasso, but the silence at Kaka will prevent this. Does he really still go in? I'm not sure he can afford to do so, but they're thinking about it. He's now finagles his way around. They have a secondary missile follow-up. They don't want to blow the lasso on him. They'll use it on Sanction instead. I think they're going to get the kill here as well. Kaka chasing, he may go down, but there's the slow from the Frozen Sigil doing a lot of work as he turns, TP's out, gets hit by an arrow. He's still got a bottle charge here. He may make his way out anyway, while meanwhile, Weaver of Hal killed off Pretty Hall, retreating through the river, and now we'll find the double kill. This is going to be another one, unless he can deny to Roche. Oh, just barely short.
And they killed the Sigil, so Banana picks up 100 extra gold on top of that. That Sigil is so freaking annoying, but Hal's rotation was just pristine there, getting exactly where he needed to be, and he'll make his way back up top, but it was perfectly worth his rotation there, giving Slark a little bit of time solo.
And they'll now bring ZSMJ mid, and as we head towards the mid-game blaze, HGT had an amazing start to the laning phase, but I am starting to worry a bit about not really just the net worth, but more their core item progression. Like, ZSMJ is nowhere near mech for this team. The Slark only has a Poor Man's Shield and Orb of Venom, and the Batrider Blink is still a ways off. So we're really not seeing any item that allows them to continue fueling their aggression. And we talked about it, how HGT have a decent late game lineup, but they don't really have much to deal with a Weaver or a Razor, let alone both. And that's going to be a concern for them, given that they're not.
Batrider baited in by his own stack. Murana's been calling this one out, saying he wants this badly. We're going to maybe take it from him. For now, we'll take his life. Kaka will fall to the Brewmaster once more. And yeah, they can probably clap down this camp if they do really want to just snatch this investment
away. They want to snatch him, man. You got to take this away from him. Mid lane, they killed off Moo on the Razor, so they get the trait there. But honestly, getting the kill and getting the stack of the Batrider when he's the primary initiator is the bigger deal.
Oh, 100%.
And they're going to kill off most of the stack, if not all of it. Yeah, Rabbit's got a secondary clap here. So that's pretty much his Blink Dagger. And this also delays the bats in turn. And now
they also warded his camp on the western side, so both hard camps just completely nullified in his farming potential, and the Batrider is still going to have a long way to go before he finds that Blink.
What a bloody start to this game. 15 kills in 9 minutes.
That's what I like to see, man.
And really, I looked at both lineups. I said there is some roaming potential here, but I was more expecting, like, the mid game to be really active. Once the Batrider got his Blink, the Slark got his level 6, Viper got his mech. But it's just been blood from the word go.
Yeah, most definitely. Especially that try versus try. Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head when you mentioned the fact that they couldn't disengage. They had the Murana leap, and that's about it. But even that wasn't enough in a lot of cases. But yeah, it's going to calm down for a couple moments here. Kaka is going to actually make his way towards the enemy jungle. Perhaps an opportunity to gank, but getting a lasso on a Weaver without Blink Dagger is pretty
no.
insane, and Hao's actually going for him instead.
Oh, he's going in on Kaka here, man. He doesn't have any backup. It's just going to be Hao forcing Kaka out solo, who now won't even get to Farmer Camp because those are mud golems he just flew over.
Oh, look at all those golems! Holy crap.
Oh, this is bad luck. And with the swarm on him, he'll be forced to TP out now. Moo can't cancel his TP, but it's wasted time for the bat. His stack denied, and more importantly, just not recovering from it very quickly. As Newbee set up mid. They've got an arrow cooling down in 3 seconds. They're going to look to make a jump on ZSMJ mid lane. As simultaneously, Hao is chasing out Icy. Won't be able to get a kill here, as there's the ult online, but could force him off this lane quite nicely. Look at the aggression from Hao. This is really, like, to me, his signature hero. He loves to just go deep on it. Icy will have to ult. I'm not sure why he's waiting so long to do it. He'll pop it at the last second, trying to bait in Hao, but the HP regen, not sure it's enough. There's still a time lapse. It just cooled down. Icy will go down to this, unless he can leap up the hill. It's too late. The Sakuchi finishes him off. Completely outplayed. I think he thought that the time-lapse was cooling down, but it was ready.
Oh, he thought that he could actually steal enough intelligence with his Essence Shift to negate the 150 mana cost. Like, he actually was towing that line. I barely had enough stick charges to bring himself above 150. But if he had gotten like 2 more auto attacks off, there wouldn't have been enough mana for the time lapse, and it would have been a kill the other way. So
this poor Bat Rider, man, there's like 4 heroes living in his jungle.
Oh, gosh.
Snowball from Pretty Hall. He'll try to stall this one out. Now the Bruce Blade comes straight onto ZSMJ. He doesn't actually have his mech yet, so they'll be able to kill him off very quickly, except for the swap. S saves his buddy. Now they might be able to turn this one. The Bruce Blade's starting to wear off here. Banana's dropping low. ZSMJ engages. They'll get the kill on the Mirana, but if they lose their Viper, that's a win. And Hao is diving deep for these kills. No more stick charges. He's low on mana. Tusker thrown up in the air. The Bruce split now ending. And the question is, can they turn this? They latch up onto Sunshine. Leaping forward, Icy will kill him off. And now HGT continue pursuit. But they have no bat blink. So in the end, it turns out to be a 3-for-1 exchange. A great recovery after what looked like a really nice initiation for Newbee.
Yeah, that's going to allow them to put some real damage in this tower as well. Hao wants to do something, but he's still a Weaver, and a Regen Rune will certainly help, though. And he's going to get his mana back up. Does only have just like the basic treads and bring a Aquila up, but it's enough to deter them, sort of force them back. And obviously they're being taxed a little bit here with the amount of sentries they have to bring down. Like bringing it into your own jungle, maybe you get a nice D-ward out of it in this kind of position, but more often you're just gonna be dropping that down, and 4 minutes later won't have done anything.
For now, HGT will hang on to that tower mid lane, and Newbee will continue to occupy their jungle. All those sentry wards just trying to D-ward, but still there's a nice observer up as Hao will look to sneak up on Icy here a bit. Won't be able to kill him unless Icy misplays again, but could definitely force him off the lane. It's like, oh yeah, now I can get a little farm. No, Hao's here. No farm for you, sir. We'll try to kill off the swarm here, but in doing so, we'll let Hao get off a couple more auto attacks, and Rabbit gets dangerously close to a blink clap initiation. Icy dropping to about 100 HP. We'll end up surviving, but they're still chasing him out, and now if they can get in front of him, the sleep won't even save him. 2 more auto attacks, Blake clap in 1. They're going to continue the pursuit. Blake is ready. The clap's here. And Icy will go down. He's been chased to the tier 2 tower by Rabbit, who has no split. And the turn will come now for the lasso. Pretty Hall in the fight as well. They've got a Walrus Punch, and they'll throw it out momentarily, I imagine. Give him the Falcon Punch, man. No mana for it. Oh, no, actually did use it. Didn't really get much of an animation for it. But Hao, meanwhile, will Sakuchi himself away. To HGT have detection for this. And they got nothing. Flame Break, no mana. Bottle charges are ready, but he's got to kill the swarm first. And Hao leads them on a merry chase around their base. And in the end, I think he'll make it out too. While simultaneously, Newbee say, space created, we'll take your bottom tier 1 for free.
Very easily. Still nice usage of the lasso to pull the Brewmaster actually back into the tower range, because as you mentioned, they didn't have any detection at all. So if they hadn't essentially pinned him in with the Ice Shards and with all the stuns underneath the tower, he would have gotten out too. But the Moonlight Shadow only saves 1 this time around, and it is just going to be this Weaver to do so much.
Man, this bat might die again.
Yeah, he doesn't have a place to call home. He even tried invading the enemy jungle, but seeing all those darn mud golems that he can't do anything about, there's not much value in that. But finally, he does find the Blink Dagger. 14.5 minutes. Has to be pretty late for Kaka, but yeah, they're still going to have it in the next fight at the least.
Yeah, it is a concern, though. Most importantly, I think it's Hao getting this really powerful start. Like, Lasso is their main way to control the Weaver, and if he gets a Lincoln Sphere, then you need your Force Staff just to break that Lincoln's, let alone to burst him. It's going to be very difficult. Well, bottom lane, Moose found himself in a very awkward situation, but backup's on the way. They'll snowball their way in. Walrus Punch, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Straight up in the air, but Moo lives through it and turns with the blue split. They'll end up getting the kill regardless, but it's already a 2-for-1, and it looks like it may end up being a 3-for-1. Icy Silence, bullet or toss to secure the kill. Man, that Falcon Punch is damn satisfying, though, I gotta say. I really need a sound pack mod for that. I would pay good money for a Falcon Punch sound. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should definitely play some Super Smash Brothers. You've been missing out, folks.
But yeah, they're going to take the mid tower. They're taking these fights left and right. The kill count, obviously, is only 2 in advantage, but coming from the disadvantage they had, I think they were down 3 or 4 earlier in the game. It's just a huge rebound for them. And HGT, they wanted this slugfest, but they wanted them to be coming out on the top. And right now, Pretty Hoss just now at level 7. He's maxing out Sigil, so I don't know. He's getting a lot of value out of that, but fighting against the splits is extremely difficult now, and we've seen how tanky Moo can be. He took tank against 3 heroes. What's the past tense of tank? But I don't know.
Tank.
Anyways,
I don't know. I'm not even sure.
It's not a word.
It's not really. It's not actually a verb. It's just like an internet-created verb. So, yeah. Anyway, I do want to mention one mechanic, which is that Frozen Sigil affects magic immune units. So, on paper, it would seem like a nice way to deal with the Bruce split, but in practice, it just hasn't really felt like it's doing much to shut down Rabbit. Like, his clap and just that first crit already take away half the health of most of these HGT heroes. It's been a bit underwhelming for what I was expecting the Sigil to offer them this game. Not to mention, as you pointed out, sometimes it gets killed, and that's familiar level gold.
Yeah, it's gotta be. He has to keep track of that constantly. I mean, that's it's even more valuable as he's maxed it out. The Roche going down.
Look at this ward. They're so unfortunate. Double sentries placed to try to deal with it, and they're both just out of range.
Oh, jeez. You hate when that happens so bad, but yeah, that's valuable intel, and it's in a very awkward position. You usually see a ward up here, you see one down where the sentry ward is placed, and this one is just a smart way to get the same intel in a different manner. But Kaka will get Lasso.
But he's got time lapse. He's also got a haste rune. They've already blown their lasso. They can't fight after this. They're gonna have to back off. Well, they bring in 5, so they'll have the 5v2 advantage. But Newbee are just content to sit back and watch HGT waste too much time chasing them around. Well, Blaze, what do you do if you're HGT now? I'm at a loss.
Yeah, you really have to find pick-off openings, but Newbee has enough durability on their heroes to survive through most of it. They don't have the hard silence, so you're gonna get the split off, you're gonna get the time lapse off. Moo, as we've seen, is very, very tanky, so this position, they're gonna be the aggressors. They're gonna be the ones to take down Kaka. Here, the arrow does connect, and he's certainly going down, but they'll try to turn around.
Mystic Flare was even used just to secure that. Well, the Brew blinks in a bit deeper and has how to back him up. The split's there, and the Sigil not even present for this. Well, now snowballing forward, Pretty Hall will throw the punch, finally deploys the Sigil, but the damage is already done. They've lost 1. They're going to lose a lot more than that. ZSMJ tries to fight against the entirety of the Bruce plays, but Banana chases him out. Sangshane and Hao also on the chase. Another Blake, a clap, a negative Earth charge, and finally he'll be killed off by that last Scarth Mage Duke. The Sigil was really late in that fight, and, well, might end up giving a bunch of gold here.
Rabbit's movement in that last fight was actually really insane. The Ice Shards was about to come out and really disrupt their positioning right under the tower, but Rabbit blinked on top of it and actually caged in the enemy instead. HGT were caught inside with just the Primal Split Pandas, and it was just very awkward for them. They wanted a way to kind of to engage under their tower and take the fight there, but Rabbit, he blinks on top and he finds that huge opening on the entire enemy team. So it really comes down to the fact that they didn't draft any good silence against him. You often see Skywrath and Doom picked up, but with the way that Newbee drafted and they opened up this draft, it's going to go down here. The Walrus Punch is going to at least pop the Aegis.
If he didn't have Aegis, that would be huge, because he's about to complete Lincoln's, but they can only kill him once, and that's before the Lincoln's, which he's about to get now. And then that type of play won't really be possible. Force Staff for Kaka still a long way off. Only picked up his rate of regen. So we're still looking like at least 4 to 5 minutes. Well, 3 to 4 maybe, depending on if he's got freedom in his jungle. And just to secure the late game a bit more, Banana's going to go back for a Midas. And if they get enough farmed cores, HGT really don't have any answers, man. They have no AoE teamfight control. Just the lasso.
Yeah, like you said, they're a pick-off-oriented lineup. They're just kind of going for those little early skirmishes, and so far that's kind of blown up in their face. We even see Slark still kind of forcing the issue on that by picking up this Blink Dagger, but I kind of feel like that's a snowball item. That's an item where you're moving forward, you can go man up and just go 1v1 somebody random, and that's going to give you the opening to do it and guarantee the pounce. But here, it's just going to allow him to bounce between camps, farm up a little bit, but it's not going to enable him to change his current state of affairs. And yeah, the Midas up on the Mirana means that they're going to be dealing with a lot of core item progression. Maybe we'll see the Pounce Connect on Banana with this Blink.
Wrap around mid lane, Slark leaps in, and yeah, Banana's in trouble now. Do they have detection? As long as they do, he probably goes down here. No, he's able to leap away, and the backup was just way too far out. They were sitting back here when that started and could not get in range in time. And now Newbee look to turn this a bit. They've used Moonlight Shadow to get in, but there's a Sentry Ward for the Radiant. So any movement directly into the river will be spotted. And as Moonlight Shadow ends, Newbee, they miss on a bit of a potential opening there, but that's okay. They've got House Split pushing with the Lincolns up, 1,000 gold in the bank. And this is starting to feel more like the kind of Hal that we saw at TI4, where he was winning his lane 1v1. He did give up a solo kill to start this game, but he's bounced back. And Arrow, missing. And then just constantly diving the tower, forcing multiple support rotations, and living to tell the tale. It's still coming out on top.
Yeah, this is just a very treacherous position in general. I mean, if the Slark's getting picked off this many times, he's died 3 times in the 21 minutes, but this is a Slark that has essentially free invulnerability within Shadow Dance. Like, they can do AoE damage to him. I've seen Mystic Flare kill off quite a few Slarks in that circumstance, but generally speaking, if he's playing the right level of passivity, he shouldn't be going down frequently. But they've pinned him in, that he had some issues, obviously, going against the Weaver after the initial kill, and yeah, it's just so damn difficult. They need to really commit the lasso to the Brewmaster and try to prevent the Primal Split, but even then the damage follow-up just doesn't seem like it's there. They're so under-farmed, and the Brewmaster is getting tankier as he builds up the Aghanims, to the point that even the lasso feels like it's not enough.
For now we have a pause. Newbee with a pretty comfortable lead at this point. 7k gold, 7k experience, and more importantly, map control going their way. They're going to group up in the mid lane, working towards either a BKB or an Ags for Moo. Other items being picked up. Desolator now probably in the works for Hal. The Brew Ags also being worked on. And they're even getting some items up on their supports. The Midas on Banana. He's already had the Urn, and now they'll build towards even a Force Staff, or maybe a Rod of Atos, but probably a Force Staff with a Scarith Mage. So these supports get harder to burst down, and if you can't easily kill supports, man, then running this kind of ganker lineup just doesn't work, because you're not killing the cores if you can't even kill the supports.
Definitely. I mean, they want Moo to go down early in the fights, but if they fight it into a Primal Split, they lose it. So I almost feel like they should try to find a way to bait the Primal Split and disengage. It's very difficult, but if it's possible, then maybe they can try to salvage a fight. But I just can't see a fight working with the split available. Nice blink away. I see will survive, but yeah, he knows that he's just walking on thin eggshells right now. Like, every time they start moving as a group, it's so easy to bring him down, even with his escape maneuvers.
And now they'll push in. Howe in the front lines, very confident about this. They've got Bat off to the tree lines. If he wants to jump in, I'll have an opening, but who do you lasso? Moo seems like a nice target, but there's a Brew counter initiation if you go for him. And if you don't go for him, he has a mech to help keep his team alive. Howe's not an option with the Lincolns. And the supports are sitting pretty far back, so I'm feeling like there's just 0 lasso targets that are viable right now.
Yeah. And that seems like the kind of state of affairs of the game. I mean, like, if you can't initiate on any one target with one of the best initiation tools in the game, and knowing it won't break, it doesn't seem like there's any real target in any kind of 5v5. I honestly feel that Newbee could, if they wanted to, force the issue and just push down that tier 2. Just they have the full potential to do so with their current team fight and with the Brewmaster the way he is. But if they just farm up 1,000 more gold, get Rabbit, the Aghanims, that'd be nice too. But it looks like they are going to do just that, but a little more subtly.
Smoke from Newbee, making their way up the top lane, heading towards the Radiant base and hoping for an opening here. Banana will probably be the one to start this with an arrow. And they've got a good ward to set up in rotation towards mid lane, which they might be going for. It's pretty Hall. This is the danger cliff. If he walks up this one, he's almost certainly getting picked. They'll keep the Weaver Park top lane with a double damage rune. This requires a response quickly from HGT. Unless they just want to start sacking tier 2s. And now they Moonlight Shadow. Pretty Hall's in a bit too far. He left his base. That's apparently too far for this game. Yeah. And they'll Brew Split, which wasn't really needed, but we'll secure this tower top lane. The question is if HGT can do anything while the Brew Split's cooling down.
Yeah, I think that's actually a fair point. That it's almost worth it for the Tusk to die just for the split because they have absolutely no chance of taking a fight without it. But you see how kind of manning up down bottom has the DD rune, but isn't able to connect onto Icy. Anyways, that tier 2 was dead one way or another. As long as Newbee wanted it, it was theirs to take. So the fact that they at least got the split for the Tusk's life, I actually feel like that's the best exchange they can get, and they have to look to actually push that now. They have to find a way to find an opening, start. The only way I could see them actually like winning out on a full exchange is by forcing Newbee into a mentality where they go in one by one. They try to save How or something, and they go in just 2 TPs at a time, and HGT can pull them apart that way. But their team fight really relies on having a numerical advantage, and right now they're just so encroached by all this enemy vision, all this enemy map control that it's so difficult to find that opening.
They finally got rid of that pesky Observer Ward, but there's still the lane ward top lane, and it already did its work. It can retire to a better place, feeling satisfied with what it's accomplished for the team. Mm-hmm. And you just see HGT constantly sitting around hoping that ganks will come their way. And it's not really like they could do much else, honestly. I'm not feeling like they're misplaying at this point. It's more just a draft issue where if they fall behind, it's tough. But they will jump on now onto Rabbit. He's got a haster though. They've got to lock him down. They polar punch him. Walrus punch him, I should say. But he's still hasted, claps, and starts to sprint out. He burns to death, immolating in the flames of Kaka. And yet, in spite of that, it's up to the Viper to really make this fight work. But he immediately begins to have his damage trade. ZSMJ standing and trying to duke it out with Moo, but really can't do it against him. While How, chasing off Kaka, will finish him off. Now backs off and goes for the other more difficult targets. Icy and ZSMJ retreating to the side shop. Icy is carrying your gem, doesn't have a TP scroll. You may want to buy one just to ensure he's got an extra way to get out of this fight. But ZSMJ will keep on running. He's not. Yeah, he's trying to creep cut here.
Yeah, they did get the gem out of that off the Mirana, so that Mirana kill was actually a huge one since the Midas Gold went right into that geometry site. But yeah, ZSMJ going for the immediate TP. It's actually kind of a bait, but ZSMJ doesn't cancel his TP. Icy's all by himself, going man mode here, and has to bail out. Moo's going to be able to cancel this Blink Dagger with a Plasma Field, but the pounds might be enough. We'll see.
No ultimate to get out of here. He's got to kill off the Swarm, leap into the trees, and then wait for his TP scroll to cool down. But Plasma Field will give them a bit of vision, and now they chase deeper for this. They still have the vision on him. Finally it ends. It'll begin to regen. Too late. Gem right back to Newbee. Not worth it at all for that support.
Yeah, I think they could have just disengaged and fall. I mean, obviously ZSMJ did not want to be there, so the Slark didn't have any place there either. The gem was actually probably the only thing that could have given them a little bit better control of the map, and losing it right back over to the Mirana negates whatever they accomplished in that bottom room fight.
They will at least get a tower out of this, Blaze, so that's something going their way. A secondary tier 1 to be claimed, but only 2 towers taken at 26 minutes, and it is a bit of a weakness for this HGT draft in general, as Kaka has pursued a bit in the dire jungle. He's forced back. Is that they don't push that well. They've got the Venjar maxed out, and that's a pretty good pushing tool, but that's basically it. You've Mech and Nether Toxin, neither of which bring down towers that quickly at the full HP mark, and they just can't sit and fight that long, because then the Swarm is stacked up on them, the minus armor begins to kick in, the Razor gets off 1 or 2 Plasma Field, there's more chances for Arrow to connect, and Rabbit has time to find a good split. Like, they just can't take objectives, even when they do win these fights.
HGT's lineup was designed to be able to take towers only with no contest. Essentially just running over the opponents, picking them apart when they're low HP in the early game, and within a huge advantage, being able to claim towers when there was nobody that was really preventing them from doing so. But if there's anything that Newbee bring to a counter push, yeah, HGT have nothing to claim. So now the Aegis comes out, and with it, I believe HGT's hopes of pulling back. I mean, obviously we've seen some gigantic throws, but this is a Lincoln's Desolator Aegis Weaver. They'd have to go past the tier 4s and maybe into the fountain in order to throw this game.
Oh, he blinked into it!
Oh, the range!
What? That literally went like... That like pierced his butt cheek, but it didn't actually stun him. I mean, seriously, man, that went right through him in terms of the visual effect, but I guess the actual model ended just before the Bat Rider. Well, that would have been unfortunate. It brings to mind this one time in a Roche fight for Sing Sing where he was playing this was when he played Mirana every game. He's actually played against the Mirana, and he dodged an arrow and then blinked into it as Templar Assassin. Ended up losing the team fight. I'm pretty sure his team went on to lose that game. Yeah, that was a sad time for Sing Sing.
we do see How searching for Icy down the bottom lane, just gets a couple right clicks on him, forces the ulti, and that's all that really happens on there. It was actually interesting because Moo actually didn't have any backup on the top lane engagement there, but just popping the Eye of the Storm, the BKB, he had the intimidation factor. He's like, okay, we don't know where the Moonlight Shadowing supports are coming from. We really don't know what's lurking in the shadows, and we have absolutely no way of finding out other than the hard way. So HGT, even though not technically in a bad spot in the first bit of that fight, they can't take an opening on a solo Razor.
Setting up for How, they will dust, and they have broken the Lincoln Sphere. Now they can pull him into a Magic Missile stun, but do they have to follow for this? It doesn't look like it. He's going to drop low, but time-lapsing now will retreat. Well, meanwhile in the mid lane, ZSMJ's forced to TP out as well. They jumped on him, he BKB'd, and now How turns. He's going back in. How dare you gank me, he says. Auto tech will follow through the swap. We'll get the kill. And he might even get a double here if Icy doesn't retreat immediately. There's more backup inbound. Blinking and clapping. Rabbit will leap forward, and Icy still pursued. Arrow also dodged. HGT are running through the gauntlet here just to get back to their base. Banana wanted to join this engagement and follow up on the chase, but he was in too far, and he'll be the sacrificial lamb for the team. But they get a tier 2. And they also kill off the bat in exchange for support, so yet another win for a newbie who suddenly seems to be unstoppable.
Yeah. Was that How dare you gank me intentional?
Sure, why not?
Another one for the Twitch chat then. It's awesome.
Yuck, yuck, yuck. I mean, that's the low-hanging fruit of How jokes, right? Lumi's made the same How joke every time I've cast with him. It's like, how do they even see me? Because he likes to make his broken English thing a thing for him. So
yeah,
it's got a double whammy effect there when How's playing. But yeah, it's either way looking good for Newbee at this point, Blaze.
Yeah, at this point, HGT, they need a miracle. They need something gigantic to put them back in it. I mean, the Slark can certainly bring a lot of late game potential. This is 30 minutes in. This is a Blink Drums and a couple of strength items Slark that's just not able to go toe-to-toe with anybody but maybe the Skywrath Mage. The Mirana obviously is not looking to fight either, but they do get the Cliff. Rabbit.
Yeah, Rabbit has a haste turn, but that's not going to help him up on the cliff. Fortunately, Sanction's there to force staff him down, while Pretty Hall gets pursued out, and How nearly killing him off. The Snowball will allow them to live through this just for a second, though. Just for a second. S won't be so lucky. Chased out. Mystic Flare just for a celebration kill, and it's a 2-0. As Rabbit scurries around, happy that his buddy had a way to get him off the cliff.
Yeah, they're going to go for some swift push plays, but as soon as the first Land of Rocks is down, I think that's the GG right there. HGT, they'll hold for now. I mean, they do have some decent ways to hold the high ground with things like Ice Shards, blocking off majority of an escape route if they do push in up the steps, but it's not going to, certainly does not help there.
Very split for ZSMJ, a little damage to him, but he BKBs and continues to run. This is at the very least a zoning split, though. It's buying time for the rest of the team to take their X. They'll snowball just to try and keep one alive, and then they roll back in. They're going really far into this engagement, probably farther than what Pretty Hall really wants, but it looks like it'll be okay for him. They'll finish off the brew aspects, but not the full brew, and he'll make his way out. And meanwhile, well, they do latch onto Hal, but he just says, great, I'll turn and fight. I've got Aegis. I'm really not afraid here. Still has his ultimate as well if he needs it. And with the Lincoln Sphere, the Magic Missile won't connect. Then they last on Shang. He's a much easier kill, and they will finally connect on one. Tier 3 down. Newbee, taking minimal losses, will retreat out.
Yeah, and it's just going to keep moving like this. They are killing a lot of time on the Aegis, though. The Aegis is going to be expiring here in just 1 minute, so I don't think Hal's going to be able to take advantage of that, and that's a win for HGT. As well, the fact that they're repelling without committing buybacks. There's a lot of times where you see people they really want to hold on to the game. They feel like they can outcarry if they just bring it a little later, and they commit a lot of buybacks and end up digging their own grave that way. But in this case, they do make the repel based on the fact that the Brewmaster split was used so offensively, as you said, kind of a zoning split. But in the end, they still don't really have that carry mentality. Like, maybe if they get the Abyssal Blade on Icy, builds up a little bit more durability too, but right now, How is just absolutely insane. He's going to have the Butterfly pretty soon, and they don't have an answer for that either.
Yeah, they don't have a Hex. They don't have that much lockdown. They have now a Basher on the Slark, and that's really it. They'll need like a double lasso or an Abyssal Blade and more items, and he actually goes hard on the top lane. Onto Banana and Moonlight Shadows, but Fate's just in time. That sticks and leaps out. Flame Break, tracking him down, not enough to get the kill. He lives with 24 HP, and now they got to run the hell away. But Swarm will find Pretty Hall, and the smoke immediately dispelled as they got in range to reveal that. How continues pursuit. There's no lasso right nearby, and he continues this chase, aggressively trying to force HGT off. They're going to sack pretty hot, look to save the rest of the team, but Rabbit has other ideas. CSMJ going into the trees. Can BKB TP out? Yeah, he'll be forced to do that. He'll make his way out. S also being chased down. Look how far Sanction's going for this. Concussive shots there. Force staff cooling down soon. He's going to the base, baby. Oh, no. Okay, he'll back off. And meanwhile, they're just going to try and creep cut here.
Yeah, they did get the tier 2 tower taken down that was not denied, so some gold going the way of HGT here, and they're still looking to hold, but, I mean, I think that Tusk is trying to, like, farm rush a Blink Dagger, essentially. Like, obviously you can't use rush in terms of time scale, but in terms of just his progression. He's going Tranquil Boots, Magic Wand, and he's stocking up the 1900 gold, so, generally speaking, you would see that committed to at least Sentry Wards at this point in the game to try to negate the fact that you don't have a tier 3 tower, but he's going to leave that to S, and he's going to try to focus on that Blink Dagger. If he can get that, maybe they can find some crazy turnaround with the Snowball.
Yeah, it is a very powerful ability for disengaging, and my main concern is, like, I think it's best when there's, like, a one-time damage source. You know, like an Epicenter, something that's a one-off that you could potentially save your teammates from and then turn the fight, but there's a lot of sustained damage on Newbee.
Yeah.
There's the Weaver right-clicks, the Razor right-clicks, and the Brew Split, which, I mean, you get at least 2 or 3 rounds of stuns and nukes and auto attacks off, so yeah. I'm with you that it is a great item on Tuskar. I'm just not sure if this is the game where it can have that big impact.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, like, it's a 4-second duration. If it was a lot of other teams, that might matter, but right now, Mystic Flare is the only thing that can be negated with that kind of time. Hal will actually get picked, but Rabbit's right here.
Yeah, Rabbit's ready. He's going to come in immediately with the Brew Split. Mystic Flare will finish off the Bat Rider. Lasso already blown. They now try to retreat. ZSMJ up onto the high ground. There's a Cyclone to deal with one, and simultaneously a defensive Snowball. But where are you going, buddy? Nowhere. That's where. Well, back to the well. 3 dead. S will be the 4th. An easy double kill for Rabbit, a monster kill for Hal, a gem on the deck, and kind of expecting a GG call, but seems HGT will fight on and look to see if they can turn this. At the rate things are going, Blaze, it looks like we'll have a 2-way tie for first after this game, with HGT dropping it would be 4-1, and Newbee would also be 4-1 after that.
They're manning up on the Ranger X here. They actually might be able to burn it down through Backdoor Protection as the creeps make their way there, but Rabbit's going to TP back, try to prevent the counter push from happening here. Gets the clap. Doesn't even use the haze just yet. He knows it's just going to get dispelled. But he's going to end up having to TP out of here in just a moment. And it's actually Medana to try to cancel.
Yeah, he's used his ult already. They're going to chase him and look for an arrow. He leaps into the trees. Arrow searching for him. Not quite on the mark. He'll leap out and make his escape, but they lost their Rex in the meantime.
Yeah.
And they also lost some damage on the tier 3. Lasso on the Razor, but that passive Urge. That passive Purge is so annoying. And Kaka nearly dies just getting the lasso off, let alone, you know, pulling him anywhere useful. As Hal goes in. There's no lasso, so he fears nothing. He Sakuchi's to dodge a magic missile. Still has his Lincoln Sphere ready, and he'll just kill off the Tuskar as he impales himself on his own Snowball. Now chasing forward towards the base. Moo on the hunt. BKB's up. CSMJ's got to retreat the hell out of here. And now Kaka, he's finally found his way back into this fight. But with no lasso, who really cares about Batman? He ain't scaring nobody. And they'll swap in Moo once again. Hal just trying to finish somebody off. Surprisingly, HGT have lived for a long time, but they'll finally lose their vengeful spirit. The Swarm comes out again. ZSMJ, no more BKB. And if they had mana for Mystic Flare, they'd probably be killing him as well. But they don't, as Hal gets chased, and he'll actually go down. Finally, it's a fall. It's a 1,300 gold bounty. He stuck around a real long time, but now a fresh Primal Split. They'll clap down with the Earth Panda to follow up with the regular Brew Clap and securing a kill there on the Bat Rider. Looking for more Cyclone Dispelled at the wrong time. That is a difficult one to time right, but now a Blink and a Snowball in. Are they going to be able to keep a hero alive with this? Debatable. CSOJ still surviving, but the Brew comes back to life. One more nuke from Scarlet to end his life, while Icy trying to chase the Mirana down will be unsuccessful, and it's time for mass buybacks here. Yeah. Buyback on the Weaver of Hal. He'll immediately rejoin the fight, as I believe he even time-lapsed in. And no, didn't time-lapse in, just ran back in, it looks like. GG. That's it. They gave it one more shot, Blaze, but they just didn't have it.
At that point, Newbee were just playing with their food. They'd broken the base. That's all they really needed to do to cinch the win, and they were just looking at the next Roche for the Guarantor. So, yeah, a very nice play from Newbee. I especially like how they turned around the state of affairs down on the bottom lane, and actually really every lane kind of felt like a turnaround to an extent. Like, there was some very significant disadvantages on the side lanes in particular as far as the kill count, and they just kind of rebounded with superior skill usage. So, really good usage of playing from behind around the 5 to 10 minute mark, and they even kind of fought back with Rabbit on the Brewmaster, getting some CS against a hero that's kind of difficult to do it with. So yeah, overall nice play from Newbee here, showing they have a lot of potential to rebound it a game, and the snowball lineup fails, unfortunately, for HGT.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude Newbee versus HGT. And with that being said, we have 2 more games coming up today for Starladder China. The next one will be a big one. IG versus LGD. And neither of these teams are looking too great, Blaze. Right now, sitting 5th and 6th. Light Gaming just won their earlier match, so they're slightly ahead of them at 3 and 2. HGT and Newbee topping the groups of 4 and 1. Only top 4 teams go to playoffs. Only top 2 from the playoffs go to the the land finals, I should say, in Kiev. So, well, stay tuned for that one. LGD versus IG, both teams 2 and 2, both needing a win to stay in the playoff hunt. Right here on Beyond the Summit, you're watching Starladder China. I'm LD. He's Blaze. Follow him on Twitter at BlazeCasting, and if you'd like myself as well, at LDDota. All VODs on YouTube.com/Beyond the Summit TV. But yeah, we'll be back soon, very soon, for IG versus LGD. Stay with us.